So the Phillies have relieved Rob Thompson of his managerial duties and promoted Don Mattingly to a manager. And this is a move that's going to placate a lot of people. It's going to make a lot of people happy for now, even though I think the Phillies are still in a pretty unsalvageable situation. Their starting pitching isn't that awful on paper, but they haven't been performing. And the backbone of the pitching staff is weak, and that's the bullpen. The bullpen is been a catastrophic issue for the Phillies for a long time, and that continues to be the case, and that's not something that Don Mattingly is going to fix. What Don Mattingly is going to do is he's going to give this team a much more mature and determined approach. I mean, Don Mattingly is the picture of a determined hitter. He doesn't give in easy. He didn't chase on 2 strikes. That's something that the Phillies need to do. I think that he'll be great for Alec Boehm. I think that he can bring some more performance out of Harper, some more performance out of Schwarber, help those guys remember who they are. And, you know, above anything else, it really encourages me with the 2-strike approach. I think the Phillies are going to be a lot harder to get out. It's going to be a lot harder to get through their lineup. But the sad truth is, I've never been that big on Don Mattingly as a manager. I was clearly wrong in some way about Rob Thompson as a manager because I was, positive on him as a manager. But he doesn't seem to be quite the leader of men that I thought he was, unfortunately. I've always gotten the impression that the leadership structure of the Phillies is a little bit more skewed towards the players, actually. The players, the rest of the coaching staff, the front office, it seems like leadership is a bit spread around in the Phillies organization and not necessarily in Rob Thompson, and I think that Don Mattingly gives them a little bit more of a figurehead to follow, and that's important, and I would suspect that he'll go from being the interim manager to a manager on a more permanent basis, because once the Phillies get their offense to stop chasing so much and to have a more mature approach that's more like what we're used to seeing out of the Phillies, they're going to recover from this somewhat. I said that in my last video about the Phillies that I think that the Phillies have a better shot than the Mets to recover this year. The Mets, to me, need to go on a little bit more of a 2-3 year plan. I think the Phillies have a shot to recover this year, but they need to redo their pitching, and that's up to the front office. And they especially need to redo their bullpen, and that's up to the front office. And in a really strong National League East, and also with the team just being fatigued from years and years of deep playoff runs, I think they're just a more fatigued and an older team than a lot of the league. They need reinforcements and they need depth. And the Phillies, that's something the Phillies have always struggled with, to be honest with you. And Don Mattingly doesn't fix that. All of those things are up to the front office. So I'm not terribly optimistic about the direction of the Phillies for the future, even if they do manage some kind of recovery this year. I don't know if Don Mattingly is the best long-term fit, but for right now and for getting themselves out of this offensive malaise, that's definitely the best move. And, I think getting rid of Rob Thompson was definitely, incredibly obvious. I'm kind of surprised that Carlos Mendoza is still managing the Mets in New York with these quick coach firings going on here with these big market teams that are struggling. I'm kind of surprised that Carlos Mendoza hasn't gotten the boot, but Rob Thompson, in his last few interviews that I've seen with him, he really seemed like a lame duck. It was very low energy, and honestly, it seemed like a manager who was about to be fired. It was kind of tough to watch. But now that has happened, Don Mattingly has been promoted. I'm sure the Phillies are happy with this interim managerial assignment. I'm sure they're happy with what it's going to do in terms of fan happiness and fan expectations, because I know that Phillies fans are going to like this and Phillies fans are going to be celebrating this managerial hire. But we'll see if it's not all it's cracked up to be in the long term, because I think that there's things that need to be fixed in Philly that Don Mattingly can't do a single thing about. So like and subscribe for more baseball content. A bit of a more brief video about this one, but this is up in the air. We'll see how the Phillies perform from here on out, now that they have more of a leader, I think, more of a leader to rally around as a clubhouse. So yeah, like and subscribe for more baseball content, guys. I'll be back very soon with the next one. Peace out.